discussions. And before we want to start with the first panel, we have some introductory remarks from a true expert on the region of India. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Stefan Schott.
I think I don't have to explain now why India is relevant for Europe and Germany. It's so obvious. That's why we are all here. And living in Delhi, there are so many delegations coming nowadays from Europe and from Germany. Like every couple of weeks, there is a high-rank delegation there. Because, yeah, Thomas Strauper explained that we are kind of natural partners to each other. So when I prepared my little presentation, I think this picture stands for what India is actually going through. That is the Chandrayaan-3 rocket that in August 2023 landed on the moon. India was the fourth country reaching the moon and the first reaching the south pole of the moon. So India, not only this rocket, but the whole country is starting through at the moment. And you see the economic development. So last year, India surpassed Japan and became the fourth largest economy of the world. Before the end of this decade, India will surpass Germany and be the third largest economy of the world. Only the US and China, they are in a different category, but the growth rates have been so impressive over the last 10 years. India is the fastest growing relevant economy, so it will be the third largest economy. And this has a lot to do with its sheer size of the population. It's almost 1.5 billion people living in India. That's more than three times the population of the EU. And India is also the largest democracy of the world. That's very relevant. So almost 1 billion voters in India, and it succeeds in having regular elections, peaceful elections, a very lively democracy, especially on the federal state level. But when I came to India to take over the FNF office there, it was clear that there is still a lack of knowledge in Europe and a lot of misperception about India. So we thought we should do a survey. Now it should click. Can somebody do that for me? Yes. That's the paper we have just finished. So we did a survey among 1,400 about participants in 25 cities, online and in-person interviews. And we didn't ask people on the street, we asked thought leaders and decision makers about geopolitics, security, and trade. And I want to summarize and lead you through the most relevant results that we found. And, now, so the first, what we asked people is, what are the major priorities for politics, for Indian politics? And it's very clear the number one has to do with the economy, growing the economy, creating jobs, reduction of poverty. That is the most relevant topic, followed by pollution and climate change. And living in New Delhi, I can understand why Indians see that as a relevant topic. Pollution is a challenge and sometimes really bad. So finding solutions for that is really a core objective for Indians nowadays. Healthcare and education, the basic needs, but international topics on this asked for relevance it's 10% or a bit more than 10%. That's very understandable. And the data on the right side of the slide, that's not part of our survey, but that, I think, explains why Indians are like that. So the per capita GDP in India is about $3,000 per year. China, 14,000, and just as a comparison, Germany is about 63,000 US dollars GDP per year. So India has to catch up and just grow its economy both is true, and this is one thing you learn about India. If you learn one thing, it's flying to the moon, it's the leading hub for IT. There's also the opposite is always also true. So India still is a developing country and a GDP of 3,000. There is a lot of work to be done. And still, 69% of the people we asked believe that India will be a world leader within the next 20 years. So it's more than 2/3 of the Indians are convinced that India will play a leading role globally. Which role is not so obvious and looks so clear. We offered some different options, and there's a slight majority for leader of the global south. But the second option is not so far away, a real global leader taking care of the global challenges of the world. And then the third option, a more regional force, standing for taking care of of South Asia, the region of India, is also in the same region. So Indians are convinced it will be a leading power on the world, but which role it will take is still a bit open. But it's clear, not playing a role at all and just focusing on the domestic problems, that's not the Indian perspective. And India and Europe. We've already heard that, and our survey confirmed that Indians are sharing the values with Europe, the values of liberal democracy, human rights, rule of law. So we are very close when it comes to values. And also the social market economy model has more than 56% support among the people we asked, more than any other of the competing models, the libertarian capitalist model of the US, the state-led model of China, or the state-guided model of China, or the planned economy of Russia. No, it's the social market economy that Indians also support. But there is also a critical view on Europe. That was a clear answer that we got from our survey. Economic strengths, Indians see Europe clearly behind China and the US. And when it comes to military capacities or capabilities, Europe is just on position 4, even behind Russia and with a distance to Russia. So that is something I think we should have in mind, that India, I think, has a realistic view on the challenges that we face in Europe. And the expectations that Indians have towards Europe clearly reflect what we heard about their own priorities. So it's economics, opportunities and trade partnerships. That's growing the economy. That also means access to advanced technology and to manufacturing expertise. Manufacturing is a field that India needs to still develop and grow. I think that is the one sector where the Indian economy is lagging behind. And climate action, that's where also the General Council talked about that is a field where we can actually strongly support the development of India. And there are not only expectations. India is also ready to do something for this partnership. So 79% of the people we asked are supporting that India opens its economy for foreign investments and for trade. And India is coming from some decades, actually, when it protected its economy, especially in the manufacturing sector and also the agriculture sector. So there is this readiness to open it, a strong support for the free trade agreement with the EU. We asked that before it was signed, and 75% of the people said this is the right answer to the high tariffs from the US. And also more than 2/3 of people we asked think that India will become a preferred destination for foreign direct investments. Yeah, and we also we heard about that. It's not only an investment, it's the bright minds of India. when you ask where would young Indians or send or young Indians go, or parents send their kids for education, Europe is clearly number one. And also for their own career opportunities, Indians see Europe as a preferred destination. This is a great chance for us because we all know about the demographic challenges of Europe, and we need talent. India is offering this talent, and obviously they are ready to come to Germany and to Europe. Yeah, there are topics that we don't agree on, and I think the main topic that is an area of conflict is the relationship of India with Russia. It's actually a mixed picture. We asked for these values. Is India sharing values? It's sharing values with Europe. It's not sharing values with Russia. So that's clear. There's this pink bars are not agreeing that India is sharing these values. It's more than those who agree. But still, a clear majority of Indians thinks that Russia is a reliable and trustworthy partner to India. And we will have a chance in the next panel to discuss why it is so. It has a lot to do with the experience after independence that India made with Russia. Russia was always on their side in difficult times when the US was not. And people have that in mind. It's even more clearer when the answer on this question, who would support India when it comes to an armed conflict? So 64% see Russia as the friend that would stand with India, and the rest is all not so relevant. Israel is on 2 because they are a main partner selling modern weapons at the moment to India. But it's the message is there is this grown friendship with Russia that we have to just accept as it's a fact. And maybe it gets a bit better understandable when you look at security topics from an Indian perspective. The whole north of India is not friends. Let's say it very carefully. It's Pakistan, it's China, it's Myanmar. So India is kind of blocked on the land side. So the more it's depending to import energies and to trade on the Indian Ocean. Though the Indian Ocean, you also see that here, Chinese harbors and dual-use harbors are also, at least with the option to be used by the Chinese marine, in Bangladesh, on Sri Lanka, in Pakistan, and even in Djibouti. So Indians talk of this chain of pearls. So they feel surrounded by these Chinese military or harbors, at least, and dual-use harbors. So when you have that in mind, you understand that the war in Ukraine, which was a Zeitenwende for us, at the beginning of a new time for us, for India, there are other challenges on the security that are more relevant. That's also something I think we should have at least in mind and understand when we come to talk about closer cooperation between India and Europe. Yeah, thank you. These were a summary of our survey results. I think, some we will discuss right now in the next panel.